Ugh, bugger off, Neville. I'm trying to do this. I can do it. Hey, so you are probably feeling quite scared and dealing with a lot of fear right now, particularly if you're trying to step outside the norm. I want to talk to you about how you can figure that stuff out and face your fear head on. Hey, I'm Elise Cartwright. Welcome to the Hustle and Groove channel, where we talk about all things productivity, email marketing, and side hustle strategies, tips, and tricks related. Today, I want to talk to you about what it looks like when you are faced with the fear of starting a side hustle. Now, it can come in a lot of different forms. You might feel overwhelmed. You might just be like, how do I even get started? You might be like, what is my next step? What does that all look like? And you've probably got some type of inner chatter going on inside your head. Now, I have a little bit of a secret. I actually have conversations with this thing up here. Now, you've probably figured out I'm a little crazy sometimes, but hear me out. So, a while back, and I think it was around the time that I started thinking about becoming an author, I started to notice my inner voice, or that negative voice that you sometimes hear, getting pretty loud. Now, I'm a really positive, optimistic person 95% of the time. Annoyingly so, my husband sometimes says, but I really struggled with starting being an author, and it was mainly because this thing up here was just saying things like, who do you think you are, Lise? What do you think you're going to do? No one's going to read your book. You can't even write. Or, how are you even going to make money writing books? Nobody makes money. What do you think you're doing? This is putting us on the line. So I had all of these things going through my head, and I just remember sitting there thinking, I wish she would just shut up. And then I actually did something which I just had no idea I was going to do, and I just said, Neville, will you just be quiet? Now, I am going to apologize for anybody watching this who is called Neville, because it is not about the name that I'm using. It's just about the fact that as soon as I did that, as soon as I called out that negative inner voice, it went quiet. Only for a second, but it went quiet. And I started to think, what would that look like if I had an actual conversation with Neville and just explained a few things to him? Was just like, you know what, Neville, I got this. I can totally do this. Now, I ended up writing an entire book about this whole thing. In fact, I have it here. So if you are struggling with anything like this, then check it out. It's a really quick read. But basically, the best way to deal with any negative chatter is to have a conversation with it. Now, you don't have to go so far as to call yours Neville or even to give it a name. But just every time you are presented with that negative thought, or you just hear some kind of negativity going through there, then just stop and just go, hey, I totally got this. Now, this inner negative voice is really coming from a place of thought and care and just wanting to look after us, because it comes from a time when, we were kind of out in the wild and there were tigers in the bushes and stuff like that, where you would want that voice to be just like, hey, watch out, there's something behind you. Totally don't need that right now, particularly when you're sitting in your office doing your work. You don't need that, unless there is a tiger in the background. You kind of don't need that. So it's just more about being aware of that voice, and then actually addressing it and just saying, you know what, thanks so much for thinking about me and looking out for me, but I got this. I can do it. So, if you want more tips and strategies about how to really deal with this, go ahead and check out my book, Mind the Chatter, and just take some time to be aware of what's going on up here. So, your immediate action step is just to be aware of what is happening up there, not allowing it to take over, just be aware. And if you want any other ideas about how to deal with this, again, check out my book, Mind the Chatter, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.